Hi, I'm the Hungry Badger, and I'm still alive, guys. I'm so sorry. This video is so late. I was supposed to finish it back in October. It was supposed to be for Halloween because dragons, yeah. But I kinda got sidetracked. Better late than never, I guess. Okay, enough rambling about me. Let's jump straight into today's video. It's a fun little twist on ClanGen. By the way, just making this clear, this isn't a mod. I made this, it's just my pixel drawings and I edited everything to make it look like it's part of the game. If I could turn it into a mod, I would, but I don't know how, and I don't really have the time to find out how right now. Okay? Okay, let's go! So the giant elemental explosion of the new era had spawned dragons randomly across the entire map of Caulderos. That's the name of the continent here, Caulderos. Firstly, it's surrounded by two oceans, the Silic Sea in the east and the Charybdian Ocean in the west. They're based on the myth. They're based on the myths. I can't say myths. Myths. They're based on the Greek stories of Scylla and Charybdis. Starting from the southeast of the continent, we have the Prismatic Gardens, the Mudmire, Spirit Song Rainforest, Emerald Reaches, Basking Beach, and Serata Spires. Here in this region spawned the air dragons. They all formed from the strong southeast winds and came together to create the air flight. They made their base camp in the tallest karsts of Serata Spires. Over to the west of them is the Soul Stretch, Hunter's Basket, Sidewinder River, and Titan's Barrow. Here spawned the Terra Dragons. These guys have mastery over earth and stone, and maybe plants. They came together and formed the Terra Flight, and made this area, near where the Eye of Caulderos, their base camp. Speaking of the Eye of Caulderos, this is what this big lake in the middle is called. And as we follow it upstream, we'll see the Breakneck Rapids, Paisea Pass, Valley of the Lilies, Rowan Reef, Salt Lake Tides, and Siren's Keep. Water-wielding aqua dragons spawned here, and they all gathered in the calmer upper part of Breakneck Rapids to build their base camp. Finally, in the northernmost of the map, we have the Frost Giants March, Mons Altus, the Volcairn, and Dusk-Kick Dunes. You can probably guess that from the giant volcano, this is where the Ignis, aka Fire Dragons, spawned. So they've made their home here in this little secluded fjord. Okay, the 4 main flights have been dropped onto the continent. Let's choose how they look. First, Aether. Now, Terra. Aqua. Finally, Ignis. Right, since they were literally almost just born into this world yesterday, they don't really have any rules or an established culture yet. So that's what this whole gameplay will be about. We're going to follow them and see how their dragon societies will evolve, be it for better or for worse. This is a good time to remind you that whatever these dragons are doing is not necessarily a reflection of my character. I'm just gonna drop this here. I'm documenting their lives and their drama like a reality TV show. It's not based on anything real, it's all fictional, and I'm just writing down whatever ClanGen randomized. Got it? Alright, let's begin. I forgot to mention that the flights won't start with a healer, aka a medicine dragon. They just spawned, so they don't know anything about herbs yet. This is me turning their healers into warriors. Don't worry, they can get healers in 2 ways. 1, a healer joins the flight, and 2, someone in the flight becomes a healer themselves. Okay, I think they're all set. Look, I've even edited the files to have all the flights show up in each other's tabs. In month 0, nothing too dramatic happens as the flights are just adjusting to their new homes. They're mainly just looking around, getting their bearings, meeting their neighbors. Terra is exploring the barrows around their camp. It seems that all the ancient skeletons of long-gone giants and titans have sparked some creativity in some of the dragons. Dove Rise, Orange Rustle, and Blaze Feather are brainstorming spooky ghost stories. Meanwhile, Boulder Pelt is living up to his name. Earlier, Icicle Star had identified a couple threats in the region. Griffins in the mountains and two lakes near the rivers. So Boulder Pelt has been ordered to construct perimeter walls around the camp, and Birdkit is trying to help, but not really. Is there just a widow baby? He later joins Rosedapple and Goatshade in the savannah, and they find out why the Hunter's Basket is named as such. So much prey here. Blaze Feather is having a blast, and so is everyone else, I assume. Birdkit is waiting for an opportunity to sprint out of sight. Then, at the border of the Mudmire, they cross paths with Airflight. Okay, luckily Spiderwing was there. Thankfully, the patrols managed to break the ice without breaking each other's bones. And the two flights leave with good first impressions of each other. Now, Airflight is a bit unique. Most flights have one or two apprentices and a majority are warriors. In Airflight though, they've got a whole gaggle of apprentices and only 3 warriors to guide them. So their patrols are structured more like a school trip with 1 mentor and many students. Oh, I can add this to the flight sculpture. Hollyhockstar is in charge of Daypaw, Rockpaw, and Gravelpaw, while Flurry Speckle is in charge of Frostpaw and Quickpaw. Why they didn't give Spiderwing any, I don't know. Maybe she's too troublesome? I guess she's in charge of guarding the camp with the elders. North of them, Aqua is off to a rather eventful start. They live in Paisea Pass, one of the more high-traffic areas of Caulderos. It's the only passageway through Mons Altus, and the land itself is very lush, but not as overgrown and difficult to navigate as Spirit Song Rainforest. The first incident was with 2 legs. Whiteshine was nearly mauled by one of their war beasts, and the whole experience has left Fringe Haze with nightmares about them. The second incident involved some aggressive rogues camping somewhere in the north of the pass. Dracostar leads a patrol with Icy Run and Violet Shell to deal with them. Luckily, the rogues notice how many dragons there are in the flight and decide to leave without drawing any blood. Dracostar is pleased. After this though, I guess the flight calmed down a little, having dealt with their immediate threats. They now have time to explore and go about trying to learn more about their new home. I am tempted to give Aqua a culture for knowledge seeking, but I kinda wanna wait a bit more and see if they become even more inquisitive. Prebat and Sunglide are exhausted after training with Fringe Haze. Looks like Aqua is being very smart and strategic. They didn't get into a fight earlier, but just in case. Okay, I'm putting that in their culture. They are very strategic dragons. I wonder what the baby is doing. Oh, you had a dream about spirits, okay. But who could it be? No one's died yet. Oh, this guy. These guys who spawn in with your clan whenever you make one, I've decided lore-wise they're just dragon guardians. They're a mysterious group of 4 spirits sent to watch over the new elemental dragons. Their only known motive is to ensure the survival of DragonGen. And that's about it. Finally, on the far edge of the world, we have Ignis dragons. They are also just settling down. Most dragons are in the camp, just chatting, lounging, or helping each other. Agave Star decides they want to go scout the territory alone, and spends most of their days just mapping out the area. While Agave Star is away from camp, Dove Speckle, Pebblewind, Ram Rapid, and Parsley Bush go out hunting. They find a small beached whale, but it is guarded by a fox. A wolf! A werewolf! That they have to fight in order to get the carcass. On another shore of the fjord, Robinfleck and Silverpaw have a nice moment together. Silverpaw is feeling a bit down and insecure, but Robinfleck has some very wholesome words of wisdom to share. Aww. Look at this. Okay, Ignis is getting the camaraderie. Back on the shores, Dovespeckle, Pebblewind, Rime Rapid, and Parsley Bush manage to defeat the werewolf and gain the carcass. They head home, but not before Dovespeckle does this, dragging the whale carcass along the way. And when they finally reach camp, they celebrate. They put the carcass in the middle and I guess they just throw fire and bounce around however dragons celebrate. I think I'm gonna add this celebration style to Ignis. Like they celebrate with food. Treebat is exploring the foothills of Mons Altus with Whiteshine and Fringe Haze when a small avalanche buries Fringe Haze. Whiteshine saves him, but they're both now sick. They went home early, leaving Treebat alone to explore. Not long after though, he finds a loner seemingly waiting for him. He approaches and she introduces herself as Mouse and asks if she could join the flight. Treebat takes her back to camp and everyone's pretty friendly. Stormkick even offers to help Mouse build her nest. Feeling very much welcomed, Mouse decides to take a more flighty name and renames herself Mouse Noise. Holycrawl takes Mouse Noise on a patrol with Icy Run to get to know each other better. This is where Mouse Noise reveals that the rogue dragons that Gracklestar stood up to before were a band of bandits. They had been hiding in that specific location in the past so they could ambush and rob any travelers going through. They'd been terrorizing the area for a while and causing problems for Mouse Noise and countless others, until Aqua kindly put a stop to it. I think it's time to add to the culture. One for being diplomatic, and the other for being welcoming to outsiders. It's not completely all well and good in Aqua though. For some reason, Violet Shell just absolutely despises Sunglide. I don't know what she did to her, but Sunglide was just watching over Stormkit when Violet Shell decided to pick on her. Oh, also Violet Shell found my house and put junk in front of my door. Oi! Over in the jungles next door, Air's many apprentices seem to be getting themselves in a bit of trouble. See, I was just looking at this picture of their camp, and it looks like there's just a whole bunch of cats, or dragons in this case, tumbling themselves down these steps. So the prompt here with Daypaw sounding like she just stumbled a little too hard makes me believe they've made up a silly but dangerous game of yeeting themselves down the stairs. I think to name this game Tumblestones, and I'm putting it in their culture. Unfortunately, because the demographics of this flight have also been skewed towards the youngins, they're bullying the elderly. I don't know how else to word this, but they are bullying the elderly. They've been picking on Pale Ember in particular, but from their prompts it sounds like the elders are all isolated from everyone else. Luckily, not all of them are bad. Rockpaw here stands up for Pale Ember. Yay! But unfortunately, it seems that Rockpaw is the exception, and I think I have to put this under their stone. I guess every story needs some sort of conflict. The good news is this can change. See this note down here? Everything in this list can be changed eventually if the flight's attitude shifts to something more positive or even more negative. It could go any direction right now. Looks like Terra is also dealing with a bit of drama, But first, a ceremony. Frozen Paw becomes Frozen Rip, and Raccoon Kit becomes Raccoon Paw. But before Icicle Star can assign Raccoon Paw to a mentor, she reveals that she had been enlightened by the spirits of their ancestors. She had a dream, a vision of herbs and healing, and she feels it is her destiny to follow in that path. So with that, Raccoon Paw becomes a self-learning apprentice with guidance from a realm beyond. Oh, and Boulder Pelt gives her a gift of petals. So cute. I think this flight should have spiritual healers in their culture. Okay, with that out of the way, time for the drama. There seems to be a rivalry going on between Rose Dapple and Blaze Feather that's causing problems for the other flight members. It all started when the two went on this disastrous patrol, which made them dislike each other. Blaze Feather thinks Rose Dapple isn't fit to be deputy because he keeps forgetting things, and also stepping on his tail. He thinks he should be deputy instead, while Rose Dapple seems to just be a guy whose position and influence got to his head. He's sometimes caught daydreaming about becoming leader, which is suspicious. It all came to a boil when the two were hanging out with DeViruchi, who, mind you, also has dreams of becoming leader. They were just chilling by the river when suddenly DeViruchi vanished. Both Blaze Feather and Rose Dapple swear up and down they had nothing to do with it, pointing out that DeViruchi also had issues with the other dragons and it's not just them. In the end, the flight concludes DeViruchi may have left on their own volition, after Orange Russell, who had given DeViruchi a gift shortly before their disappearance, can't find that gift anymore, meaning they must have took it with them. Alas, the flight must continue on with their lives. They can't let this DeViruchi mystery distract them from their duties. But then Rose Dapple stirs some trouble again. He accused Boulder Pelt of leaving things lying around and not cleaning up after himself when he's done reinforcing the walls. I think he's overcorrecting because DeViruchi left, and now he's being extra strict to prevent more deserters. I'm gonna add that to their rules list. Icicle Star looks like he's affected too. He's woken everyone up early. Oh, I think morning... what is this called? A roll call? An assembly? Should be part of their traditions and cultures. Meanwhile, far up north, Ignis is having a quiet day. Robin Fleck promises to teach Silverpaw something new and take Silverpaw out to the other side of the fjord. Agave Star is also out training Dazzlepaw, and Rhine Rapid, Parsley Bush, and Dove Speckle are out hunting. And Dove Speckle did the thing. Chestnut Chirp is sulking, probably because she was left alone with the arrogant Pebblewind, who is just spewing nonsense. But later, she is thankful she didn't go anywhere because a terrible storm has rolled into the fjord. All the dragons who went out struggled to get home, but they made it eventually, except for Robin Fleck and Silverpaw. They were on the other side of the fjord, and the storm was closing in. If they didn't act soon, they'd get caught in it, and the storm would cut them off from the rest of the flight. And so, they had to make a decision. Or rather, their fates were spun for them. Let me introduce you to more lore. You see, unlike warrior cats, the dragons here have guts, and there are 2 of them, so far. One I will talk about later, because right now I'm going to explain to you Casus, the god of fates, randomness, and the overworld. They are a manifestation of, well, the randomness of mortal life, and the randomness of ClanGen, and are represented as having a spinning wheel of fortune that dictates the fates of everything. Also, if you haven't noticed already, yes, Casus was heavily inspired by the goddess Fortuna. Also took in inspiration from other more chaotic gods like Dionysus, Loki, and purely fictional ones like Sheogorath from the Elder Scrolls. Anyway, we're going to be using Casus' Wheel of Fortune to help us make difficult decisions like this one. Will they proceed or will they not? Silverpaw and Robin Fleck's fate will be decided. Robin Fleck tried her best to look for Silverpaw, but soon had to retreat back to camp. She alerted the flight to what happened, but they had to wait for the storm to subside to go out looking for him. They spent days and nights just scouring the shores of the fjord with no luck. Silverpaw is lost to the fickle tides. Now's a good time for me to explain the rest of the spiritual lore these dragons have. You met one god, now you'll meet the other. Aether. Aether is the god of dragons and of their afterlife. He rules over his kingdom of Eternus, which is basically Dragon's avant-garde. Only the worthy end up here. Unfortunately, since Silverpaw left the mortal coil before he could really prove himself, he's not going to Eternus. He's going to the Middle Meadows, which is a place not too different from Starkland, but more neutral. It's technically a big ghostly waiting lounge, and most spirits end up here, where they just vibe until Casus pulls their name from this wheel, and they get reincarnated back into the overworld to try again. So yes, any dragons who find themselves in the Middle Meadows have a chance of coming back, so we may not be seeing the last of Silverpaw here. Only the Middle Meadows though. Eternus is eternal, and so is Tenebris, which is the dragon's place of no stars. I have more lore about the afterlife, but I can't fit it all into this video, so if you want to learn more about the world of Draconia, there is a DragonGen Google Doc that I made. More info at the end of the video, but link is in my channel description if you want to check it out. Okay, back to the flights. Although the flight failed in their search for Silverpaw, there is, though, someone else who they found. A dragon by the name of Frostlark. Said he came from the south and smelled of warm earth. Parsley Bush had saved him from being caved in by some loose debris caused by the devastating storm, and the morning flight let him stay with them. In such a difficult time, they need all the help they can get. And that is all the time I have for today. If you like this new series, please leave a like and let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. This is the most I've probably ever spoken in my life. My mouth got so dry so many times, and I'm sorry if my accent got a bit out of control. Originally, I wanted to do DragonGen year by year, but it looks like a month is enough content for one episode. So I decided to separate them into 12, so more dragon lore is coming. Now, this is the part where I put fan art, but DragonGen doesn't have any yet, so let me introduce you to this. I made a whole wiki in a Word document just for DragonGen, because there's too many dragons to put into a single YouTube post, so if you want to see references, you can check the doc out. Link is in my channel description as usual. The link to my fan art form has also been moved here into the art museum section, and I added an extra ticket thingy for if you want your art featured on WolfQuest or a DragonGen video. There's also extra lore, just my writing can get very verbose and metaphorical, so there's that. Alright, I think that's all for today. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, stay safe, and bye!